The wind over Themyscira whispered of war. A storm brewed not from the sea, but from the sky itself. And through that storm came a streak of light. Golden, blinding, alien. It was Captain Marvel Carol Danvers, the cosmic warrior forged by Kree power and human will. Her arrival was not planned. It was not peaceful. She fell through the clouds like a meteor, slamming into the sacred grounds of the Amazons. The earth shook. Statues of gods trembled. And the first to arrive was Diana of Themyscira, Wonder Woman. Sword in hand, bracelets gleaming with divine fire. Eyes calm, but ready for war. "You've trespassed on sacred land," Diana said, voice steady as the tide. "Not by choice," Carol answered, standing amid the smoke. "My ship was attacked. I lost control." The Amazons surrounded her, bows drawn, ready to strike. But Diana raised a hand. "Hold." Even now, she sensed something. A power that wasn't born of Olympus, but of something far beyond the stars. "You carry great strength," Diana said softly. "And a great burden," Carol replied. "I didn't come to fight." But before peace could be spoken, the sky cracked again. And from the breach above, alien drones descended, firing plasma into the island. The attack had followed Carol across the galaxy. The Amazons drew their blades, shields raised, while Captain Marvel took to the air, fists glowing with energy. And in that instant, two legends fought side by side. The battlefield lit up in chaos. Carol streaked through the air, destroying drones with sonic bursts of light. Diana deflected blasts with her bracelets, cutting through the invaders with divine precision. To any mortal watching, it looked like a dance between heaven and fire. But amidst the battle, one drone broke formation and targeted Hippolyta's temple, the heart of Themyscira. Diana dashed forward, leaping across the broken steps, but Captain Marvel got there first, shattering the machine in a single strike. The explosion sent shockwaves across the island. Both warriors were thrown back, Diana through stone, Carol through flame. When the dust settled, silence fell. The Amazons looked on in awe and fear. And then one of them whispered, "The outsider has brought ruin." Diana rose slowly, covered in ash. "Enough." But the Queen's gaze was sharp. "This woman carries destruction wherever she goes." Captain Marvel stepped forward. "Those ships weren't meant for you. They're hunting me." The Queen's voice cut through the air. "Then you will leave this island or face judgment." Diana stood between them, torn between duty and truth. "She saved us," she said. "Without her, Themyscira would have fallen." Hippolyta's eyes softened, but only for a moment. Even gods must answer for the chaos they bring. That night, as the fires dimmed and the sea grew quiet, Carol stood at the cliffs, staring into the stars. Wonder Woman joined her. "You remind me of myself," Diana said. "A warrior out of place." "You ever lose a home?" Carol asked. "I left mine behind," Diana replied. "But not by accident." They spoke little after that, but both could feel it. A growing tension, like thunder waiting to strike. For Diana, Carol's strength was unnatural. For Carol, Diana's power felt limitless, divine in ways no science could measure. And in that quiet, uneasy peace, both began to wonder if their worlds could ever truly exist together. Because when two forces of nature meet, one storm must give way to the other. And soon they would find out which. The morning light over Themyscira was calm, too calm. Birds circled high above the cliffs, but the island itself felt tense, uneasy. The Amazons had never welcomed outsiders. Not warriors, not gods, and certainly not a soldier of the stars. Captain Marvel stood at the edge of the training grounds, her armor repaired, her eyes distant. She had fought wars across galaxies, but none in a place that felt this sacred, this timeless. Themyscira was peace built on discipline, and that discipline saw her as a threat. Diana approached quietly. "You're restless," she said. "You can feel it too," Carol replied. "They don't trust me. They trust my judgment," Diana said softly. But they question your control. Carol gave a faint smile. Control isn't my strongest quality. Diana looked at her, expression unreadable. Power without restraint isn't strength. It's danger. That word, danger, hung in the air like thunder before lightning. Carol turned sharply. You think I'm dangerous? Diana didn't answer. Her silence said enough. Far above them, the sky shimmered with static, faint, like the ripple of broken glass. Neither saw it yet, but something vast was coming. The rift that had brought Carol here was reopening. In the war room, Queen Hippolyta summoned Diana. The outsider's presence has awakened something, the queen said. Our scouts saw energy beyond the barrier. We must send her away before it consumes us all. Diana stood tall. She is not our enemy. Then whose is she? Hippolyta asked. Everywhere this woman goes, war follows. Diana looked away, torn between loyalty and truth. She had seen the way Carol fought, reckless, raw, almost too human for someone with godlike power. She reminded Diana of herself when she first left Themyscira, brave, but untempered. Hippolyta's final words echoed like a decree. If she will not leave willingly, she must be made to. By nightfall, the rift tore open again. A violent storm of blue fire splitting the sky above the island. Through it came more alien drones, bigger, faster, armed with Kree technology. The Amazons prepared for battle, but this time, Diana could see the truth. They weren't invading Themyscira. They were coming for Captain Marvel. Carol took to the skies instantly, blasting through the first wave with pure fury. Her energy ripped through the air, brighter than lightning. But she wasn't careful, and the shockwave flattened entire sections of the Amazon walls. Diana shouted, Carol, stop! You're destroying everything. But Carol didn't hear. Or maybe she didn't care. Her instincts had taken over, the soldier, not the hero. When the last drone fell, Themyscira was in ruins. Dozens of Amazons lay wounded. The sea boiled beneath the falling wreckage. Diana stood amid the destruction, face hard, voice cold. You said you came in peace. Carol landed, fists still glowing. I ended the threat. At what cost? Diana asked. Look around you. For the first time, Carol hesitated. Her eyes traced the broken walls, the fallen sisters. The sacred ground turned to ash. But then her voice rose again, defensive. If I hadn't acted, you'd all be dead. I've seen what these things can do. And I have seen what pride can do, Diana replied. The air between them grew heavy. Not with anger, but with something worse. Understanding. They both knew what was coming next. The Amazons surrounded them again, weapons raised, this time not as allies but executioners. Queen Hippolyta's voice rang out from the steps of the temple. Captain Marvel of the stars, you have brought ruin to paradise. You will leave or face our wrath. Carol looked at Diana, eyes sharp. I'm not leaving until I make sure this world is safe. Then you give me no choice, Diana said quietly, stepping forward. The Amazons stepped back, forming a circle. The storm above darkened once more. Not from alien ships this time, but from the clash of two powers that were never meant to meet. Diana drew her sword, forged by the gods themselves. Carol's fists ignited in golden light. You want to test me, princess? Carol said. No, Diana replied. I want to teach you. And then they collided. The ground cracked under the impact. Energy surged across the field, scattering the Amazons. Sword met photon blast. Shield met pure cosmic fire. Diana's strikes were deliberate, controlled, graceful, divine. Carol's were explosive, furious, and fast. Each hit was like thunder clashing with fire. Each strike carried centuries of belief behind it, one divine, one human. But neither was willing to yield. Diana swung her lasso, catching Carol mid-flight, pulling her to the ground with the strength of Olympus itself. Carol slammed into the dirt, gritting her teeth. You think your gods can stop me? I am not my gods, Diana said. I am what they could never be. Carol's eyes flared. She surged with power, her full binary form ignited, burning like a miniature sun. Diana raised her shield, bracing for impact. The explosion of energy was seen from across the island. Stone shattered. Sea waves rose like mountains. When the light faded, both warriors stood, bruised, bloodied, and still unbroken. Carol wiped her mouth, smiling faintly. "Not bad, princess. You've yet to see my wrath," Diana said, eyes blazing. The battle wasn't over. It had only just begun. And somewhere above, the rift pulsed again, reacting to their power, expanding faster, hungrier, closer to swallowing the island whole. Neither of them noticed. They were too focused on each other. The warrior and the soldier. The god and the star. And soon only one would stand. Themyscira burned beneath the weight of two legends. The skies tore open, lightning crossing the stars, as Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel clashed again and again, each strike shaking the island's heart. Stone temples fell. Waves crashed against the cliffs. The Amazons watched from afar, powerless to stop what had begun. This was no longer a battle between hero and outsider. It was something greater, something inevitable. Diana's blade sliced through the air, each swing guided by divine precision. Carol countered with radiant blasts, her energy scorching the ground. When their powers collided, the world itself seemed to hold its breath. Time slowed. For a heartbeat, two icons of strength stared into each other's eyes. "Why won't you yield?" Diana demanded. "Because I can't," Carol shouted. "If I stop fighting, people die." Their words echoed louder than the thunder. Neither spoke again. They didn't need to. They understood each other too well. They were mirrors, reflections of power born from pain. The lasso of truth flashed golden in the smoke. Diana cracked it like lightning, wrapping it around Carol's arm. "Then tell me the truth," Diana said, pulling hard. "What are you afraid of?" Carol resisted, the glow around her body flickering. Her voice broke for the first time. "Losing control." The words hit harder than any punch. For a moment, Diana hesitated. But that pause was all it took. Carol surged forward, channeling every ounce of power she had left. The binary energy exploded outward, blue, red, and gold light consuming everything. Diana raised her shield, bracing against the blast, but the force threw her across the ruins. When the light dimmed, she lay buried beneath stone and dust. The Amazons screamed her name. Carol floated above the battlefield, light dimming, chest heaving. Her armor was cracked. Her eyes shimmered with guilt. "I didn't mean to," she whispered. Then, from the smoke, the sound of steel scraping against stone. A shadow moved. Diana rose again, battered but unbroken. Her tiara was cracked, her shield shattered, but her resolve unshaken. "A true warrior never fights for herself," she said, "only for what must be protected." She reached for her sword, but this time she didn't attack. Instead, she extended her hand. Carol blinked, confused. "After all this, you'd still help me?" "You don't need my forgiveness," Diana said softly. "You need your peace." Carol looked down at her hands, still glowing faintly with unstable energy. The portal above was pulsing again, reacting to her power, feeding on it. "It's connected to me," Carol said quietly. "My energy keeps it alive." "Then you must let it go," Diana replied. "If I do, I might not survive. If you don't, none of us will." The wind howled as the rift began to expand, swallowing the edges of the island. Mountains crumbled. The sky fractured into light. Carol hovered, trembling, torn between fear and duty. Diana placed a hand on her shoulder. "You were never meant to be alone in this fight," she said. "Even gods fall. But they rise again, together." For the first time, Carol smiled, tired, human, real. "You'd make a good Avenger." "And you a worthy Amazon," Diana replied. Then Carol closed her eyes and let go. Her body erupted in light, pure and blinding. The energy that sustained the rift flowed back into her, spiraling upward, collapsing the breach with a thunderous roar. Themyscira was bathed in golden fire. The sea surged, and then silence. The rift was gone. The sky cleared. Only the sound of the waves remained. Hours passed. When the dust finally settled, the Amazons searched through the ruins. Diana stood on the cliffs, hair tangled, armor broken, eyes fixed on the horizon. The portal had vanished, and with it Captain Marvel. For a long while she said nothing. Then, quietly, almost like a prayer, "May the stars guide you home." Days later, under a quiet night sky, a streak of light shot across the heavens. Faint, but visible even from Themyscira. Diana looked up, a small smile forming. Somewhere out there, Captain Marvel was still alive. And perhaps, in some distant world, she was looking at the same stars, thinking of the warrior who taught her that even gods can show mercy. In the halls of Themyscira, Hippolyta spoke softly to her daughter. "You showed her compassion when others saw only danger." "Because I saw myself in her," Diana said. "And what did you see?" "A woman fighting to be more than what the world made her." Hippolyta smiled faintly. "Then perhaps she was never our enemy." As the night deepened, Diana stood once more on the highest tower. Her armor repaired, her spirit stronger. The sea below reflected the stars. Endless, beautiful, eternal. She whispered to the wind, "Some battles are not fought to win. They are fought to understand." And far beyond the stars, Carol Danvers soared through space, carrying the faint mark of an Amazon crest burned onto her gauntlet, a reminder of the woman who fought her, saved her, and changed her. Two worlds, two warriors, one legacy. Strength, when tempered with compassion, becomes something divine. And in that truth, both the warrior and the light finally found peace.